Right, so we are starting a new series. We're starting the book of James, which we have titled Practical Action for a Life of Faith. Now, the book of James, despite there only being 5 chapters, is absolutely crammed full of nuggets of wisdom to keep us busy at Soul Food Services until next March. What? Five chapters until next March. So here's all the dates for the upcoming series. If we could get that up, there we go. So there's lots of weeks. Get them all in your diaries because, yeah, I'm excited. James was a wise dude, and I'm sure we're going to learn a lot from him. But let me start by telling you, who is James? Yeah, who was he? Why did he write the letter? Etc. Let me throw a spanner in the works, all right? And say, actually, his name wasn't James, it was Jacob. The name's changed a lot over the years. It started as Jacobus, then it went to Yaakov. This is Greek and Hebrew, respectively, but through various translations, we finally evolved into James. And we're going to keep calling him James for this series to prevent any confusion. Now, there are a few Jameses in the New Testament, 2 of them being disciples. But this James that wrote this letter is actually Jesus' brother, James. That's him and Jesus doing karaoke. And he was a leader of the first Christian community ever. James was a pillar throughout some real hard persecution in the early Christian days until he was eventually murdered. But before he was murdered, he got down a whole bunch of wisdom and teaching and was aimed originally at those Christians of their early day, but still has a massive impact on us today. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by reading James 1, verses 1 to 18. James, a servant of God and of the Lord Jesus Christ, to the 12 tribes scattered among the nations, greetings. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. If any of you lack wisdom, then you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. But when you ask, you must believe and not doubt, because the one who doubts is like a wave of the sea, blown and tossed by the wind. That person should not expect to receive anything from the Lord. Such a person is double-minded and unstable in all they do. Believers in humble circumstances ought to take pride in their high position, but the rich should take their pride in their humiliation, since they will pass away like wildflower. For the sun rises with scorching heat and withers the plant, its blossom falls and beauty is destroyed. In the same way, the rich will fade away even while they go about their business. Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love him. When tempted, no one should say, God is tempting me, for God cannot be tempted by evil, nor does he tempt anyone. But each person is tempted when they are dragged away by their own evil desire and enticed. Then, after desire has conceived, it gives birth to sin, and sin, when it's full grown, gives birth to death. Don't be deceived, my dear brothers and sisters. Every good and perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of the heavenly lights, who does not change like shifting shadows. He chose to give us birth through the word of truth, that we might be a kind of first fruits for all he created. I'm going to take a drink now because it is jolly warm. So hands up, who likes exercise? Who likes going to the gym? Not as many as I expected. That's good. That's fair enough. I need someone's help this evening, so I see a hand there. I need your help. Just a little visual aid. Oh, I see. You shouldn't have put your hand up. Nah, come on. It'll be fine. So what I need you to do, these little big, heavy 2-kilogram weights. Just some cool with that? Just keep going for a bit. I'll come back to you. Is that all right? Yeah, that's fine. So I used to love working out, leading fit camps, doing personal training with friends. The satisfaction after a good gym session is incomparable. I don't do as much of these days because I'm married, so I don't need to impress anybody. Hence why I need a volunteer. You doing all right? Yeah, good. Keep it going, keep it going. But fitness isn't just about looking good. It's also about being able to do tasks easier, being able to look after your family better, decrease their risk of health issues. For example, Eleanor and I, living so close to here, we always find ourselves carrying stuff to and from church, or carrying 4 bags of Tesco shopping each, putting the chairs and tables out each week. It's a lot. And it's getting easier the more and the more we do, because we're gaining muscle every time we do it. You doing all right? Gaining muscle? Is it hurting? A little bit. That's the point I'm trying to make, so you can pop them down. Thank you. Let's give him a round of applause. Thank you, mate. You're going to feel that in the morning. It does hurt. And the longer you go, the more it hurts. Then a bit later on in the day, the next morning, the satisfaction of yes, I've just done a good workout turns into muscle ache, doesn't it? One of my favorite German words, just a bit of a sidetrack, is Muskelkater. And that literally translates to muscle hangover, but it's what we would translate to muscle ache. But why do we ache? Why do we get sore muscles after we do exercise? And through exercise, during exercise? It's because the exercise we're doing is actually destroying our muscles. We're tearing our muscle fibers. And then what happens? They grow back stronger. Trials are a lot like going to the gym. They require effort, patience, resilience. But going through them, we come out so much stronger. You've gone a little bit too far on the slides there. Go back a couple. That's exactly what James is telling us in here in the start of his letter. He says, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything." So perseverance is obviously key, right? Pushing through the pain and trusting God's promise that you'll come out of it stronger. Can I just encourage you right now, whatever you're going through, however big, however small, you are not dealing with it alone. The creator of the universe is at your side, carrying the weight with you. In Matthew 11, it says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me. For I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." Push through the pain and invite God to carry the weight with you. My next point, target a specific muscle group. When you're going to the gym, you need to have a specific muscle group in mind. Don't just rock up and do a little bit on every machine, do a bit of arms, do a bit of legs, because you're going to end up fatigued. And afterwards, what have I written here? Sorry, I can't read my own notes, and it's typed out. But think, so don't go in and think, go on every machine, but think, what do I need to work on today? And do exercises accordingly. You're not going through trials for no reason. There's always a lesson to be learned, a gift to be grown. James uses the example of wisdom in verse 5. "If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you." Spend time with God, asking, "God, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to be learning? God, what is this reason that you've got me in this trial right now?" He'll highlight the muscle group you should be training in this season. But when you ask, you must believe and not doubt, because the one who doubts is like a wave in the sea, blown and tossed by the wind. That person should not expect to receive anything from the Lord. Such a person is double-minded and unstable in all they do. Commit. Trust the process. How great would it be to do one solid workout or go for 1 2-kilometer run and the next day come out looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger? How awesome would that be? As great as it would be, it defies my point of perseverance. No, it wouldn't be great. Perseverance, you need to persevere. See, at first, we see little progress, don't you? And it can be disheartening. But believe and do not doubt. Believe that God has a better plan than whatever trials you find yourself in right now. It may not become apparent overnight. You definitely won't master it overnight. But persevere, because you will see results. So trust the process. You're all with me still? I haven't gone too weird with this analogy of going to the gym? No answer. That's fine. So a tricky one incoming. Believers in humble circumstances ought to take pride in their high position. But the rich should take pride in their humiliation, since they will pass away like a wild flower. For the sun rises with scorching heat and withers the plant. Its blossom falls and its beauty is destroyed. In the same way, the rich will fade away even while they go about their business. What's James saying here? I feel like he's saying, don't be a show-off. Nobody likes a show-off. Yes, it's great to achieve, to see results, to grow. But the point of that growth, however, is not to be above each other. Oh, I've learned so much patience recently. Oh, I've grown in so much wisdom because of all these trials I'm going through. That's not what it's about. It's about sharing what we learn, training each other humbly. I'm going to give a slight trigger warning now. For my next point, I'm going to talk about the devil, something I feel like as a society we're a bit scared to talk about right now. But I want to encourage us that there is nothing to fear because the battle is already won, okay? When tempted, no one should say, God is tempting me, for God cannot be tempted by evil, nor does he tempt anyone. But each person is tempted while they are dragged away by their own evil desire and enticed. Then, after desire has conceived, it gives birth to sin, and sin, when it's full grown, gives birth to death. The devil knows exactly how to get under our skin. He knows our weaknesses, and he will target them. I am extremely lazy. There's nothing I prefer to do when I know I've got loads of work to do than sit on my bum, watch TV, eat half a packet of biscuits, etc., etc. But what happens when we give into our evil worldly desires? We sin, we die. That's what James says. We open a door and allow all sorts of rubbish to come through. Temptation is real, and it is what I would consider the biggest trial of all. You'll be most tempted in your greatest moments, because a thief doesn't break in the night if there's nothing worth stealing in your house. Let me say that again. A thief does not break in if there is nothing worth stealing in your house. We are to consider it pure joy when we go through trials. Not because we're being tempted, not because we're in a trial, but because God will always turn it into our good. Even what the enemy means for evil, you turn it for our good and for your glory. We're going to sing that after I'm finished. Even in the valley, you are faithful. You're working for our good and for your glory. God will turn temptation into lessons of self-control. He will turn your trial into a gym session focusing on patience, forgiveness, faithfulness. Every good and perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of the heavenly lights, who does not change like shifting shadows. He chose to give us birth through the word of truth, that we might be kinds of first fruits of all he created. God will give you all you need. He sent his Spirit to live within us so that we would abound in love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. As we demonstrate all of those fruit, we inspire others to grow in those areas themselves. But we can't expect to be masters of them overnight. So what have we got to do? We've got to push through the pain. Invite God to take some weight. Trust the process. Don't show off. Know that God has already won. Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love him. Amen.